day 8 of the Diddy trial. Walk us through what agents say they discovered at the Star Island mansion raid.
So a gentleman by the name of Gerard Gannon was the lead person from the Homeland Security Special Agent investigation at the home of Sean Combs in Miami. That was in March of 2024. And he testified to what they were able to find in the house. The jurors saw the actual exhibit, so there were times where Mr. Gannon, Special Agent Gannon, was able to open up those plastic bags and show the jurors exactly what was found inside the home of Sean Combs. So more drugs. We've already heard that Sean Combs, from other witnesses, did drugs, had drugs. This is the first time that the jurors were able to really see some of the pictures and then the confirmation from the special agent about what these drugs were. So he described blue pills, black pills, orange pills, pink pills, and many of them testing positive for cocaine, ketamine, MDMA, and other drugs like that. So the jurors heard more about the drugs and also sex toys. There were a few sex toys that were found inside the bedroom, as well as a total of 18 platform heels. What this is supposed to prove, we will find out, but it was a little bit more of the same in terms of what we've heard, but now the jurors were actually able to visibly see it. Throughout this time, when they're showing these drugs and whatnot, I'm looking at Combs' expression. He's pretty stoic. And then I also noticed that during this testimony, 2 of his sons actually walked in. So we weren't sure if we were going to see family members, any of his children today, but we did see 2 of his sons.
In those photos that jurors were able to see today of that Miami raid, we saw many images of guns. What really does that mean for Diddy, if anything at all? What are they trying to prove with photographs of so many weapons?
So again, I think this speaks to the coercion and the violence, the threatening, those sort of things are elements of the crime, and that's listed in the indictment. We saw a .45 caliber gun. We saw the receivers for an AR-15, and something that the defense did on cross-examination is really question the special agent about why some of the pictures that we were seeing, why there weren't pictures taken before they unwrapped the receivers, for instance. So the defense making a point that some of these things were sort of put away, stored away, there was tape around them, that it was the agents that came in and sort of showcased it and showed the pictures, or they even made an example of how the investigators were in his bedroom, in Combs' bedroom, and then there were pillows strewn about, and they said, well, why didn't you take pictures before you guys started digging through different things? And they also made mention of that as it pertains to what they found in his bedroom closet.
And I mean, there were images of his bathroom, and it was trashed.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff on that counter, but particularly there was a wooden box that had sort of a gold like medallion or pendant on it, and it said Puffy on top of it. And that's where, again, investigators found more drugs. Another thing kind of to what the defense was expressing in their cross-examination is the defense made note of how many agents were involved, in 80 to 90 total. So they were trying to say, okay, so this is this one person, this house, you know that he's gonna be gone. You know, did it take 80 or 90 agents to swarm the house, surround the house, attack it by land and by sea? And the special agent basically said the first group was a very small group, but yes, there was a total in all of about 80 or 90 investigators that were involved. Also mentioning the 6 people that were at his home who were all arrested and handcuffed for about an hour.
And when it comes to the guns, was he licensed to carry? Did he have permits for the guns? Were they legal?
You know what? I'm not sure about that, Rachel, but I can say that's a great question, because when you look at this criminal enterprise, there's nothing in anything that he has been charged with. There's no document in terms of what he's been charged with that has to do with gun violations. It's about, you know, that sex trafficking, the criminal enterprise, the transportation of prostitution. So I'm not sure that is going to fall into whether or not he's more likely to be seen as guilty of those crimes.
Gotcha. You mentioned the forensic psychologist, Dawn Hughes. She was testifying today. Why is her testimony important?
Dr. Dawn Hughes, this forensic psychologist, said that she was giving subject matter testimony. She was speaking generally about the abuse that victims face and how likely it is for them to stay in these relationships for a long time. She talked about things that they would deal with over a period of time when it comes to coping mechanisms or memory and things of that nature. So she was there talking directly to the jurors. I noticed that she would look right at the jurors and explain, you know, these are things that we expect when we're dealing with domestic violence victims, or this is why someone might stay, and this is how they might suppress memories in order to cope with certain different situations. But on cross-examination, the defense is really going in about the fact that she is not a, quote, sort of expert on the case of Cassie Ventura or other people that might be testifying. So they're making a point to say, isn't it true that even in your line of work, you are not supposed to kind of make generalizations about anyone? Sure, you can have your research and your experience, but they were very focused on making sure the jurors understood that this expert had not reviewed psychological material regarding Cassie Ventura, had not interviewed Cassie Ventura, had not examined anything that had to do specifically with this case. And the doctor said that that was true, but she was able to make some generalizations to help the jurors better understand some of the patterns of people who are victims of domestic violence.
But again, that goes back to the point of domestic violence, not sex trafficking and racketeering.
It is, right? And I think, again, there's this interesting sort of
Like a
thread, if you will, and there are so many different elements that the jurors are going to have to consider when it comes time for them to decide beyond a reasonable doubt if Sean Combs is guilty of the crimes that the government says he is guilty of. But I believe that this sort of building up of